Hi, did you know that a systematic review was published titled Adrenal Fatigue Does Not Exist in BMC Endocrine Reviews? This was a paper that was published where these two Brazilian physicians went through the medical literature and they looked for the term adrenal fatigue and tried to find any significance of this condition, if it's really a real condition or not. And they concluded after this extensive systematic review that adrenal fatigue does not exist. When I first saw this paper, I was actually laughing and chuckling. To do a systematic review on something called adrenal fatigue would be as silly as trying to do a systematic review on sluggish thyroid or brain fog. These are slang terms that are used in healthcare to refer to physiological states. For example, leaky gut is a slang term for intestinal permeability. There's very few papers published on the term leaky gut, but there's over 16,000 papers published on intestinal permeability, which is a slang term for leaky gut. Liver detox is a term that's used as slang in healthcare. There's not papers on liver detoxification. There's papers on hepatic biotransformation. As a matter of fact, there's over 160,000 papers published in hepatic biotransformation. This inability to determine slang versus physiological mechanisms is really a major problem and disconnect between healthcare professionals. Now, does adrenal fatigue exist? Well, yes and no. It depends how you define it. If you define adrenal fatigue as a disease condition, then no, it's not a disease. It's just a slang term that's used. Most people refer to adrenal fatigue as a slang term for inability to produce cortisol throughout the day in physiological ranges compared to healthy people, or abnormalities of cortisol circadian rhythms. And numerous papers have shown abnormal cortisol rhythms or inefficient levels of cortisol production throughout the day compared to normal people can impact energy levels, sleep, recovery, immune function, and even risk for chronic diseases and so forth. So yes, these physiological changes do occur, despite the fact that these researchers published a systematic review. When we refer to the word adrenal fatigue, we're really referring to imbalances with the adrenal glands. And adrenal gland imbalances that are physiological create a whole list of symptoms that lead to chief complaints of depression and chronic fatigue and just weird symptoms that people may complain of, like always craving salt or just inability to really get their brain to work, and so-called brain fogginess, very non-specific types of terms. Now, in the upcoming course called Diabetes and Dysglycemia, Clinical Strategies and Treatment Applications, we're going to go over all of the actual research on things associated with adrenal function, adrenal circadian rhythms, treatment applications, and really teach you a step-by-step approach to evaluate these conditions and understand the literature and science behind them. I hope you can join us. Thank you for your attention.